Welcome back to Insight. We're at Indiana Physical Therapy with Andy. We want to talk about balance and falls and things like that, that physical therapy can actually help.
Oh yes, definitely. There's a lot of factors involved with balance. Strength, proprioception, your vestibular system, which is your inner ear area, flexibility, a lot of things that we assess and look at and try to figure out what's causing this, and then we can kind of pick it apart and say, okay, we need to work on this. Even something we found that, like your neck range of motion, being able to turn your head each direction, not only just turning it how far it can turn, but how fast you can turn it, like in traffic and stuff like that. So yeah, balance is multifaceted, and we have to be investigators and pick it apart and see what's causing the most problems.
It's funny because you went down that list, and I was telling him before we started here, my balance is terrible. But I didn't know it was like, so is the motion in my neck. I mean, I can't do that very well either.
Well, then we need to work on you there, Dirk.
Huh. All right. I guess here we go. So how does somebody know, though, they have bad balance? Because I didn't know until I started playing golf, and the golf instructor's like, I think we need to work on your balance.
Exactly. And that's part of it from an athletic standpoint, from the elderly standpoint. It's multifaceted, like I said. If a person's had trouble in the past with falling or stumbles quite often, or is fearful of falling, which the elderly population, a lot of them are, or from the athletic standpoint, if a person has poor balance, there's different things we can work on. From an athlete standpoint, it's more dynamic. You're moving, you're on the court or on the golf course, on the tennis court. For the elderly, it's more or less getting, safely going upstairs, safely navigating uneven terrain. And that's one thing we do in the clinic here is we look at static balance, we look at dynamic balance, we look at balance on an even surface, on an uneven surface, eyes open, eyes closed, a whole list of things. And sometimes you'd be surprised, one leg's better than the other, one side to the other. So we look at it all.
And is stairs maybe where it presents itself for a lot of people, that first time that they realize, whoa, this is not normal?
Right. And sometimes it's like, I have more trouble going up the stairs, or I have more trouble going down the stairs. That also tells us, is it more balance, or is it strength related? And so we have to investigate that again.
And once you investigate, then what's treatment going to look like for most people, or can you even say for most people?
Well, for most people, actually, I can tell you right now that even if a person comes in here with their main focus not being balanced, we're going to do some balance. If it's a lower extremity especially, we're going to focus on some aspect of balance or coordination. And that involves the strength, flexibility, joint range of motion, your proprioception system, which is basically the system in your body that tells you where your joint is in space. So that when you're, the proverbial test where you got your arm down here, you're supposed to touch your nose, that with your eyes open, your eyes closed. Those are receptors in your joints that tell you where you're at in space. And if they're not working right, then you have a problem.
And physical therapy can help me do that?
Oh yeah, you can retrain them.
Huh.
If you're in a conscious state of mind.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know. You may be asking a lot here. All right, so Indiana Physical Therapy for balance, and obviously if I've suffered, falls and things like that, that's obviously a red flag. Get in here right away.
Definitely. And we have specific tests that we do to assess somebody's risk of falling, and certain parameters, scoring on their test. Are they safe to be without an assisted device like a walker or a cane or crutches or something like that? Or do they need that like when they're in the house but not outside the house? And they'll fall in that category, and then we can recommend to them what's best for them. And sometimes it's just a temporary thing too. If they're just overcoming, let's say a total hip or a total knee replacement or an ankle injury or a fracture, and they might just need it temporarily. They may not need it for the rest of their life. Sometimes they feel more secure with it, and I always tell them, if you feel more safe with it, then use it.
Yeah.
Okay? As long as it doesn't make up for your lack of strength or proprioception or flexibility, but if it makes you be safe and feel safe, then that's great.
And it's all that matters. Indiana PT is where you can go, indianapt.com for more information. We'll be right back on Insight.